Hey, it's Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And again, a different little setup for you tonight. We still have not gotten the home set up for the complete studio yet, so I'm using a different camera tonight. I'm gonna try not to bump the table too much because I see the the camera on the laptop will shake. But nevertheless, another night of day 11 of the Carolina Panthers. This is your recap for today. A good bit of information that we're going to go over today. And as always, Chris Jenkins, aka Man of the People, which means any questions that you all have, please let me know. And another plug, if you have not watched my Steve Wilks interview, what are you waiting for? Please check it out. My interview with Steve Wilks. Tomorrow I have up my interview that I did with Brandon Smith, rookie that was drafted in this year's draft. So check that out as well. But let's go ahead and get to talking about this Carolina Panthers team. Format as usual: observations from practice, player and coaches interviews, and then your questions and answers. All right. Hey, one reason to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you like the Steve Wilks interview or anyone that I've ever done, the more subscribers I have, the more likes that I get, the more I can get people on here. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Already a member, hit the like button. And always a good idea to turn on bell notification. That way, when I go live, you can join me. I know a few people have sent me comments. And by the way, as promised, I have gotten better with getting caught up on the comments that are coming through. But I had somebody leave the comments that hadn't caught up with me yet on the live video. You got to turn on those notifications. You'll be able to catch up with me. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into some of these. Let me see the early comments. Welcome back. Thank you, Ali. That Big Willie doesn't care about the depth chart. What's up, Chris Johnson? What's up, Jonathan Fielder? So, hey, my job is just to bring you the news. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with it, how you feel about it, how you want to process it, all that good stuff. I'm just here to bring you the information. But let's go ahead and talk about practice. So, first, we had some guys that were injured earlier in the week. So, and then just some new things. So just overall, I'm going to give you what I observed from practice today. Media does not get any official injury report, so we also have to ask questions and try to take notes to bring the best kind of report that we can give to you about practice. So Marquis Haynes was injured recently in practice, got carted off. He was back at practice today and in full pad, so that was good to see from Marquis. We also had some people in red jerseys. We had Keith Taylor, Colin Thompson, and Terrace Marshall. All of those guys were in red jerseys, meaning typically the guys in red jerseys will go through a few activities, but they won't do any team type practice 7-on-7s. They really will just do their positional drills and then sit and watch. So again, that was Keith Taylor, Colin Thompson, and Terrace Marshall. And then we did have a few people that get banged up during practice today, one being Jacob. I can't say his last name. I should have made a little copy of it. Jacob T-Mariner. I'm so sorry. And then we also had Ian Thomas, who got hurt during practice after a catch. Coach later on confirmed with us that he just banged up his ribs on that play. So those is the summary of your injury report for today. Again, it's an unofficial injury report because the media just has to do their best job to get that stuff together. Practice notes. This is the only thing I'm going to talk about. And then I'm going to move on to talking with coaches and players and then see what questions that you all have. So, of course, the biggest competition that could be for any team is that at the quarterback position. I think it's becoming pretty clear that Baker Mayfield is going to be that guy. He should be that guy. Baker Mayfield today, pretty good. I mean, really good. He had one series in which he was 4 for 4. And this was in the red zone, and he completed TDs on all of them, all 4 passes, 4 for 4. So you can't ask for anything better than that. And then toward the end of practice today, in 2-minute sessions, he took the team down the field all the way. Actually, not all the way. I think they did 40 yards they were going. But he took the team down the field, scored a touchdown. Both of the touchdowns were receiving touchdowns, one being to DJ Moore, the other being to Christian McCaffrey. Now, did Sam Darnold look terrible today? Not at all. Did Sam Darnold do okay today? Yes. But did Sam Darnold throw all the touchdowns that Baker Mayfield threw? Not at all. And I think when you combine that with the fact that, Baker comes with all this gusto, personality. Coach talks about how he can command a room. Why not make the switch to that if what you had last year in Sam Darnold? I'm not saying that you have to be so bold and boisterous like Baker Mayfield is, but when you've had Sam and he has not worked out, you get a new guy which already energizes people. Then that new guy comes with all this leadership and this confidence, and he's throwing really good balls. Go with that guy. Go with that guy. Please go with that guy, Matt Rule, please. So that's it for practice. Let's go ahead and talk about a few comments that we were able to get from Matt Rule today during his time in speaking with the media. First of all, tomorrow's practice, again, is moved up to 9 o'clock for those that will be going down to Spartanburg for their last practice down at Wofford College. Practice at 9 o'clock, and this is good to know. If you go tomorrow, you're mostly going to see the threes. You're not going to see much of the 1 and 2s. You're going to see a lot of Matt Corral. So if you're a Matt Corral fan, it's a good time to go tomorrow. PJ Walker and others. And we have the depth chart out that we're going to put up for everybody to see. And I love to hear what everybody's comments and thoughts are about that depth chart that is out there. Starters will play this week versus the Washington Commanders. By the way, I don't know if you saw it, but I put it on Twitter. Ron Rivera today let go of Sam Mills III. And man, I feel like that had to be some terrible timing. Like, you're on cloud nine. Your dad just, went to the Football Hall of Fame, and then come Tuesday, you don't have a job. Wow. He said it was a tough decision for him to make, especially knowing the Mills family. That is comments from Ron Rivera. But nevertheless, starters will play this week versus the Washington Commanders. And then with J.C. Horn, he continues to do well. They're bringing him back. They don't want to get him out there just going haywire just from a conditioning standpoint and stress on that foot. Says the foot's not bothering, but they just want to gradually build him back up to a heavier workload on his body. So he's been, monitored, of course, by the GPS trackers and everything they have. And JC provided a pretty funny moment today at practice where he wasn't supposed to be in there, but he snuck on in there. Didn't take long for the coaches to say, whoa, come on out. And they pulled him back out of those drills. So you got to love a guy that wants to compete. And plus he's young, so he wants to get out there and actually get in that detailed grind work to make sure his game is where it needs to be. And so those are some of the comments and takeaways from Matt Rule speaking with the media today. Let's go ahead and talk about Ben Mcadoo. He's new offensive coordinator. We still have Phil Snow, so anytime we get a new coach, you want to learn about that guy and see what he's about, and you hope that they're going to be better than what the previous person was, get some better results. So when practicing, Ben Mcadoo shared what he is looking for in the quarterbacks, and I think I had that to share with you guys. All right, so this is Ben Mcadoo on in practice what he's evaluating as far as his quarterbacks go.
Yeah, again, first thing is I want to come out, I want to play a clean game, right? You're looking for guys. I want deliberate practice. I want deep practice from these guys. I want them to push the envelope. I don't want them to be afraid to make mistakes. It's the way I believe you train the quarterback position is you teach them the way you want them to play, and then you roll the ball out there and you let them go do their thing. And I spend time in there. I'm not behind my desk. I am around the troops. That's my philosophy in that room. And I got to trust them to go out there and do the job and run the offense. And if I don't trust them, then I don't trust myself. Then I'm not doing a good enough job. Yeah, Matt is obviously slowly and quietly improving. He's taken some jumps from the off-season program. Reps are hard to come by, but that's just part of the game. But that doesn't mean that he's not improving. He is improving. He's seeing the bigger picture a lot better. We just need to continue to develop him.
So that's what Ben is looking at during practice. And then he went on to further talk about Matt Corral, who hasn't got a lot of snaps. But again, tomorrow, threes are going to dominate the practice reps. So Matt Corral will definitely get an extended look and some extended reps tomorrow as he continues to progress in his career. Now, let's move on to Saturday because we're going to have a game. So, okay, Coach, you talked about your philosophy and how you're going to be looking at these guys in practice. We also got his comments on what he's going to be looking for from this quarterback group and the game this Saturday versus the Commanders.
Yeah, again, first thing is I want to come out, I want to play a clean game, right? You want the substitutions, right? You want to show that you can come out and have clean game management. That's always important in the first preseason game. Then we want to look to, at the plan to win. We don't want to beat ourselves. Even though it's a preseason game, I think you want to be smart there. You don't want to come out and have a ton of penalties. Even the officials will probably be aggressive throwing flags, but we got to be smart there with our fundamentals. Nothing pre and post snap. Just evaluate guys that way, and just the biggest thing for me is just see them playing versus other people, not just our guys, and evaluate that.
So a clean game, and did he say DBO? Did he say don't beat ourselves? So a clean game is really what he's wanting. Manage things properly, and no mistakes is what he's looking for this Saturday from that group. Coach I was about to say Rivera. He's on the other team this week, but Coach Rule has not said what order people are going to play and how much time people are going to play. But Ben Mcadoo did say, "Hey, I'm not going to compare Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. I'm not going to do that." With this team right now, the big challenge that he has also on that O-line is to determine which five is going to be on that O-line and what order that they're going to play in. Still trying to figure out what that best solution for that will be. But this preseason game, pretty vanilla playing, all right? Pretty vanilla is what he's saying that he wants it to be. And the reason is he wants to be able to evaluate the players. He doesn't want them having to think too much about all the changes that could take place. And still, of course, wants to hide some of that for the regular season. But he feels like a vanilla game plan will allow him to evenly evaluate those players across the board. All right. So that's some comments from Ben Mcadoo. And that's really it as far as what I have from practice today, players and as well as coaches. And then let's go ahead and move into let me go to the comments, see what these comments are looking like. Big Willie, I don't really care about the depth chart right now. It's still way too early. I like to see Icky at left tackle, Brady Christensen at left guard. Hey, a lot of stuff is way too early, in my opinion. A lot of stuff. So I understand you there. I feel a little bit the same way. What's going on, Chris Johnson, Jonathan Fielder, Terrence Tate, TMJ again. Terrence, I don't know what you're talking about yet. Am I going to be at training camp tomorrow? Unfortunately, I will not be at training camp in person tomorrow. Way too early, 9 o'clock to start. I commute down every day because I have to come back to the family show. I will have to work that one remotely tomorrow at the training camp. What's up, Fred McGee? See that you made it on. Appreciate you making it on. Can't wait to see Matt Corral. You will get to see lots and lots of Matt Corral tomorrow if you're going down to Spartanburg. And I feel like you're going to see a lot of them this weekend as well versus the Washington Commanders. I finally got used to that Washington Commanders. I wonder if you all have as well. Big Will said, one time Baker went 20-20 in TDs in the red zone in college. Panthers fans know that we need red zone touchdowns over field goal. Okay. No, not sure what you're talking about there, Fred, so I'm going to come back to you. All right, so let me go ahead and get into the depth chart. Got a few things that came out. So here's the depth chart that came out. Hopefully you can see it well. I'm going to talk over it a little bit. You got DJ Moore, backed up by Rashard Higgins, good old Baker connection. Currently left tackle, you got Brady Christensen, backed up by Akeem Ekwonu. At left guard, you got Michael Jordan. He's backed up by Dennis Daly. I haven't seen Dennis Daly as much as I've seen the Christensen, Ekwonu, and Jordan, and even seeing those guys switching around. You have one of these interesting things here at the center position, which, I was going to say, I don't know why you're trying to protect grown men's egos or feelings, or maybe you're trying to do some coaching psychology by not making it clear. But anyway, here at center, you got either Pat Eflin or Bradley Bozeman. So you got an or there. You got two guys that could be center right there. Right guard, you got Austin Corbett. Right tackle, Taylor Moton, followed by Cameron Irvin, which I really haven't seen much of Cameron Irvin with ones. Left tight end, you got Tommy Trimble. Right tight end, Ian Thomas. Other wide receivers, Robbie Anderson, backed up by Terrace Marshall. And then you got Christian McCaffrey. And then, yet again, another dual slot. Anyway, you got Deontay Foreman, Chuba. Right now, I'm going to give that to Foreman. What do you think? Should I give you my tiebreakers in these? Yeah, let me give you your tiebreakers. Why not? We'll have a little fun. I go with Bradley Bozeman at center for that tiebreaker. I go with Foreman for that tiebreaker. And here the last one, Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold. I give that to Baker Mayfield. And this is obviously a wrong depth chart. I say obviously a wrong because they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. They're not going to keep 4. PJ Walker is not going to be kept over Matt Corral. And this would only work if Sam Darnold is going to be traded. And anyway. So that's the offensive depth chart. All right. Let's go ahead and check out these comments that we might have here. If Carolina goes 500, do you think Matt Rule keeps his job? And do you think Steve Wilks would be a good replacement? Wow, Steve Wilks, the coach of Carolina Panthers, that could be interesting. I don't know about Wilks being the backup if Coach Rule doesn't make it, because he has to fit the mold for what David Tepper likes as a head coach. Right now, Steve Wilks is, following the direction of Matt Rule, and he can still be effective with that. But when you are the head coach, you gotta love the modern day analytics, GPS systems, and all this technology to make decisions. I don't know if Wilks is that kind of guy. He could be, but I don't know. But if Matt Rule does not go 500, or if he does go 500 or less, I don't think he should keep his job. I don't think he should keep his job. And if you haven't watched the Steve Wilks interview, it's up. It's a good one. It's up. Let's see. Ethan Points. I'm fine with figuring it out and letting people get all those good reps. If you are depth, get better. All right. A little bit messed up here with the sentence, but better depth and your role just a little better with more confidence. So basically, Shane, to get these guys on the depth chart some more reps so you can really know what you have, as depth is important, especially when you go from what was already tough in the 16-week season to now 17 weeks, technically 18 when you include the bye. What's up, Shanae Johnson? Appreciate you logging on and saying hello. I really want to know where Brandon Smith will really play. Well, I got an interview with Brandon Smith. Well, he's going to be a linebacker, right? Exactly where, you don't know, but definitely at the linebacker spot if that helps you out, Jonathan. All right. Brady Christian, left guard. And okay, just some more. And all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at this depth chart on the offensive side. I'm sorry, on the defensive side. So you got Brian Burns, left defensive end, backed up by Marquis Haynes. Left tackle, you got Derek Brown, backed up by Davian Nixon. Right tackle, you got Matt Ioannidis, backed up by Brafian Roy. Right defensive end. Hold on a second. I'm trying to control some things. I don't think this depth chart with this right defensive end is accurate, as Marquis Haynes has by far had many more reps, unless they're pulling a surprise. But anyway, I'll continue to read on. Yetur Gross-Matos as your starting defensive end. Darryl Johnson backing him up. Shaq Thompson, Damian Wilson, Frankie Luvo are your linebackers. Brandon Smith currently at the right outside linebacker. Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn, backed up by C.J. Henderson and Keith Taylor. Jeremy Chin and Xavier Woods, backed up by Sean Chandler and Justin Burris. Okay. All right. That's what it is. Any other comments come through? We could have did better in the draft, but hey, it's good. Yeah, I thought they did pretty good in the draft. Addressed needs on the offensive line, which is extremely important. Got a quarterback to look to build in for the future, and then got to more pieces on the defense and a really speedy guy back in the secondary that they could train as well. So I think it was a pretty good draft. That's my 2 cents anyway about the draft. Big Willis said this is way too early depth chart. I wouldn't disagree with you at all. Not one bit. It is definitely, by the way that it's currently listed, yeah, a way too early depth chart. But because they got a game coming up this weekend against the Washington Commanders, they had to go ahead and put one out there. And that's currently what it is. What time will the interview air? So what time will the interview air for Brandon Smith? I tell you what time do you want that interview to air with Brandon Smith? Anybody? Well, let me know. We'll go ahead and air that interview with Brandon Smith tomorrow at 7 o'clock, unless you all leave me comments. Strongly want it to be a different time. We'll go for 7 p.m. for Brandon Smith tomorrow. And I appreciate you, Chris. And Haynes has done more than Yetur Gross. Yeah, he has. He has. So, again, some people say it's a way too early depth chart, and I don't disagree with that at all about being way too early. All right. Appreciate everybody. I know these videos are later than I normally do. Just trying to make sure I get it in. Like I said, I'm not going to miss a day. I'm going to earn my subscribers. I'm going to earn being your favorite resource to connect Panther fans with the team, coaches and players. I'll reach out to them as much as I can for you all. Continue to work into more interviews for you. So appreciate everybody pretty much. Everybody have a good night. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte.